Talk to Jim about the currency more, especially the U.S. dollar, which you say is doomed, that and the sterling. And you seem pretty adamant that there will be a currency crisis coming in the next year or two. Now, you're not sure if that will be maybe the euro or the dollar. Lots of vagueness in that prediction, but what makes you so sure it's coming?
Well, who knows, Susan, but throughout history, when you've had these massive currency imbalances and trade imbalances and debt imbalances like we have now, it has led to currency crisis, or at least a semi-crisis. The U.S. dollar is a flawed currency. The sterling is a flawed currency. I haven't been vague. My vagueness, to quote you, has been just, I don't know where it's going to start. But I'm quite convinced we will have currency turmoil in the next year or two or three, who knows when. These currency crises usually happen in the fall, historically. It may start again in the fall, and we're going to have some turmoil in the currency markets. But again, it's not a radical statement. Look at the debt situation in the UK or the debt situation in the US compared to the massive creditor status of the currencies in Asia. These are huge imbalances. Something has to be done.
Well, Jim, a lot of viewers have written in, and I guess they've been watching a lot of your interviews on the TV set, and they just want to point out to you that since you've been calling for a selling of the U.S. dollar back in 2007, it really hasn't depreciated that much. In fact, it's only down 3% year to date.
Well, I'd rather make 3% than lose 3% in that period of time, but with all due respect to those viewers, I've been urging people to sell the U.S. dollar for a decade. The U.S. dollar went down 7 years in a row, or nearly 7 years in a row, up until 2008, and it had a big rally because of all the short covering with the forced liquidation that was going on. I still own some U.S. dollars. I haven't sold all of my U.S. dollars by any stretch of the imagination. I do hope that I'm smart enough to get out of my dollars before they collapse. But no, nothing goes straight up or straight down, Susan, and as you know, I'm not a very good market timer, so anything I talk about I'm talking about the big picture. I'm not talking about next week.
Okay, so if you think the dollar is doomed, then Chung has written in asking if you think there will definitely be a change in the world's reserve currency, and if so, which currency is poised to be the next one?
That's a fabulous question, Chung. Throughout history, it's always happened. 70 years ago, the pound sterling was still the world's reserve currency, but there was a transition taking place to the U.S. dollar. We're in that kind of transition period again. More and more of America's enemies are trying to get out of the dollar. Even some of America's friends are worried about the dollar. So the transition is taking place. I don't know what's going to replace the dollar. I look every day for that answer. If suddenly America disappeared tomorrow, it would probably be the euro, just because there's nothing else. If it were 10 years from now, 15 years from now, it might be the renminbi. That's an absurd statement because the renminbi right now is a blocked currency. You cannot even buy and sell it. But the only thing I can see on the horizon far down the line is the renminbi. Or maybe the world will try to use something like the special drawing rights, which the Chinese have suggested. I think that doesn't have any hope of working. The world might try a commodity-based currency. There's talk of that sort of thing. The world does know there's a problem. China, Russia, many countries have voiced we do have a problem, and we do have a problem. So something has to replace the dollar, and it would behoove us all to try to learn more about the currency markets, because these are